The reason I love movies is because I love drama, and drama is conflict. So I must admit a fascination with feuds and fights, not just fictional ones in movies and television, but real life ones among nations, politicians, family, friends, co-workers, and celebrities. While most celebrity feuds are just speculation and third-party gossip, the Kevin Smith-Adam Carolla feud was between two guys with multiple podcasts, both of whom have no problem speaking what's on their minds. The feud came to a head when Kevin came on Adam's podcast to clear the air and settle the matter once and for all. After an hour and a half, neither side would take blame or responsibility for what happened, mainly due to the fact that both seemed to be genuinely nice guys and they wanted their meeting to end on somewhat friendly terms. While I believe that both parties have a genuine belief that they are righteous in this situation, ultimately there can be only one. Both men have huge followings that provide unwavering support, and people seem to come down on the side of the person they like better. This video will be my attempt to analyze both sides and come up with a verdict that is supported by facts and not emotion. Granted, no judge or jury can be completely unbiased and impartial unless they know absolutely nothing of both men. And why would such a person ever listen to the hours and hours of testimony that is available? So, for full disclosure, I was a Kevin Smith fan when Clerks was released, and I saw Mallrats on opening weekend. Chasing Amy was one of my favorite films of that year, and while I do not think he has made anything quite as good since, I have seen every one of his films. And if he only makes one more, like he claims, or makes one every year for the rest of his life, I will see them all, because he is in the small group of writer-directors who I follow and respect. So, as far as Adam Carolla goes, I never watched or listened to Carolla on Loveline, and except for a few segments of The Man Show, I never watched that either. I was a huge Howard Stern fan, and was pretty pissed when Adam took over, and I never listened to him on that show at all. It was only a few years ago that I started listening to his podcast, and I became a fan. While I must admit I do get exasperated with his right-wing politics, I find him genuinely funny and entertaining, and was a part of the reason I watched a full season of Celebrity Apprentice for the first time, the other reason being Penn Jillette. Before their interaction on Adam's podcast, Kevin's position was that the reason the show didn't happen was due to the fact that Adam, or his people, were being too demanding in their negotiations, and that he had nothing to do with it, and he didn't understand why Adam was talking shit about him. And he also alluded to the fact that Adam had flaked on his pot damn it, and that he would not call him on the telephone. Adam's position was that he had signed a deal with Telepictures, and was then told that Kevin refused to work with him, which he could not understand why. Kevin had legitimate reasons not to work with Adam. Whether it was real or whether it was perceived, some of Kevin's fan base believes Adam to be homophobic. Whether it was intentional or accidental, Adam didn't show up for Kevin's pot damn it. Email and phone etiquette are subjective matters, open to interpretation by the individual. I believe Adam, and I think Kevin did as well, when Adam explained his side of the story for all of these issues. Ultimately, though, and Kevin admits this, the reason they did not work together is not because Adam wouldn't sign a deal. It was because Kevin told Telepictures that he would not work with Adam because of perceived slights at the time. Two facts which Kevin lied about to his wife and podcast listeners, but was unable to do when he was sitting face to face with Adam. In closing, I have met Kevin Smith, and he is genuinely friendly to everyone. I will be sad if his upcoming hockey movie proves to be his final film. I still enjoy Adam's podcast, and like Kevin, he comes across as a genuinely good guy. But both men cannot be right on this issue. Someone is in the wrong. By the end of Adam's podcast, Kevin admits to refusing to work with Adam, but says that Adam had some responsibility for not picking up the phone and calling him after being told this. I'm a believer that almost all conflicts come from misunderstandings, and in this particular case, Kevin misunderstood certain things and took a proactive step which prevented this project from happening. Adam, by his own account, misunderstood the intentions and desires of Kevin's emails, but was always willing to work with Kevin regardless. Most of us have coworkers. If we walked into work Monday morning and were told that one of our coworkers refused to work with us, there would be two ways to handle it. One, accept that our coworker does not like us and move on with our lives. And I think this is the most mature response that most of us would take. Now, the second approach would be to approach the coworker, who we already know doesn't like us and refuses to work with us. And we can either say, you know, I don't want to work with you anyway. You're an asshole. Or the other way we could approach the coworker is to say, geez, why don't you like me? What did I do wrong? To my mind, you would have to have pretty low self-esteem to approach someone hat in hand whom you believe has tarnished your reputation among coworkers, especially someone who you believe you have gone out of your way for with gestures of goodwill. Ultimately, if you were to examine this situation fairly, Adam did nothing wrong. Kevin was the one who felt insulted by the situation, and the onus was on Kevin to bring it up with Adam or to keep it to himself. But instead, Kevin took his dirty laundry and he brought it to Telepictures without hearing Adam's side of the story.
But it's just like, why am I the asshole? Like, I had no ego, man. I was like, I don't care. Like, partner me up with Adam, that's great. Mm-hmm. Adam could be the fucking dude in charge, and I'll be the fucking fat sidekick. I don't give a shit. Like, he's a gifted fucking comic. Right. He's a survivor. He's been doing it for a long time. He's a podcaster as well. Mm-hmm. I like and respect the dude. Put me with him. I can't help it if, like, they can't close a deal because, like, you want or you push or whatever. You know, it's like, this ain't the world to do that in anymore. Nobody gives a shit enough. They're like, the interest is fleeting. You know what I'm saying? We'll check back in a week. If you're not fucking ready to go, fuck you. There's 26,000 people
looking for work.
Yeah, to fill the spot with. So I feel bad and I feel shitty that he keeps fucking, like, you know, making these little comments, but my hand to God, that is the story.
One or two things, fine, but this dude doesn't respect me or my audience at all, so I'd rather not be in business with him. We know that's not the case now, sadly.
Well,
hold on, not done,
yes,
not done.
Yes.
Yes. Or at least not at the time of the writing. If that kills me being on TV, I'll be bummed, but I'll deal with it. What I'd have a harder time dealing with is going to work every day with a guy who literally left me hanging during a moment when it counted. And that'd be a lot easier to swallow if it wasn't also the guy who alienated my weekly audience, gay and straight, with antiquated, ew, gay people are weird type jokes, as well as also being the guy who still hasn't written me back in regards to this show for months. Apparently that's a big deal to me, as we've seen.
Yes.
From the moment I was told maybe Adam and you for the TV thing, I was game. I reached out to him, included him in stuff we were doing at the Lovitz, where he records a show every week as well, and even teased the notion of us doing something together on my radio show. I did. I was talking about me and Adam had a meeting, man. Me and Adam might be doing something.
Right.
But now I feel like a dick. I feel like I've been that little dog from the WB cartoon jumping up and down in front of the big dog, exclaiming, "Spike's my friend because he's so big and strong." And now I'm seeing that it was one-sided and will likely always be that. Life's too short to work with someone who treats you like a fuck.
Right.
In short,
oh,
he's kind of a, this is the worst part, and I don't believe it.
Go ahead.
In short, he's kind of a stuck-up dick. And I know you, again, that was my perspective, which is fucking wild from this side now, having this conversation.
Yeah,
but
all right.
Fair enough.
Where's the back
And I
part?
know you like the possible sweet, salty nature of pairing us up. That's all they kept saying. They're like, you're a nice guy. He's salty dude, sweet and salty. He's going to be amazing.
Sure.
But I'd rather have pretended we were opposites for the dynamic of the show, for entertainment purposes, not because I don't like him. Sorry to make your morning and all this complicated. Adam's got all that TV experience, so no worries. I'll understand if you want to continue solo with him. No harm, no foul. You're a good dude, Jim. Thanks for hearing me out, Kevin.
No. You insulted him a little bit. You got a little out of order yourself.